From the Pasture by Hired Hand is presented by R3 Hilltop Ranch. Located in Chilton, Texas, R3 Hilltop Ranch has been breeding registered Texas Longhorns since 2006. What began as 3 heifers has grown into our current herd, which you can explore on our website at r3hilltop.com. We're passionate about loud colors, longhorns, and docile temperaments, but it's the easy-keeping, low-maintenance traits of Texas Longhorns that initially attracted us and continue to drive our herd growth. In addition to livestock, we proudly offer certified Longhorn beef products. Visit r3hilltop.com/beef to learn more. Thank you for listening and enjoy exploring our ranch online at r3hilltop.com.
Hi there, I'm Molly.
And I'm Jamie, and this is our From the Pasture with Hired Hand podcast.
For 15 years now, we've been proudly helping breeders promote hundreds of thousands of pedigree livestock with our easy-to-use animal management-driven website software.
And let's not forget about Hired Hand Live, where over $1 million worth of livestock is sold online each year.
We're excited to bring you market trends, sales data, advice from your fellow breeders, and stories from the ranch.
Our software makes managing your website and your animals a breeze, so you can focus on what you love.
So let us handle your digital chores while you tune in to another episode of From the Pasture with Hired Hand.
Today we're talking about the upcoming Legends Sale and Futurity with our guest and sale host, Justin Rombeck. He'll give us an inside look at the cattle and other details for the weekend. Be sure to visit hiredhandlive.com where you can view all the consignments, get detailed information, and place your bids. You can also check out consigners' websites powered by Hired Hand software to learn more about their programs. If you're excited to hear about the standout Longhorns heading to the sale ring, stay tuned. We've got the full rundown. Hey, Justin, thanks for joining us so early in the morning.
No, appreciate it.
Well, hopefully you got your cup of coffee, got some caffeine in you, and you're ready to go.
Yeah, life is great.
Perfect. Okay, so if you could go ahead and just make a short introduction about yourself and maybe also give a little history of the sale.
This is our 6th year of the sale. I guess we'll start with that. The concept with the Legends sale came from showcasing top-end producing sires and dams on their importance of utilizing them within various programs to build consistency and get those programs to the next level, and also being able to hit more consistently with the offspring that they produce. So we're really excited about that going into our 6th year here. Really strong lineup. A little bit more about me. Started getting into Longhorns back in 1997 as a high school project, and watching it evolve from there. I think it was 2004. Started Longhorn Opportunities, a consulting business that I have, helping programs throughout the country with their breeding goals and needs. Coaching them in a team effort to move their own programs ahead and achieve their goals to raise the kind of Longhorns that they wish to achieve. So it's been a fun ride. Been able to make a career out of it, and feel truly blessed.
Yeah, and you're kind of I guess we could call you a professional at putting on sales, because you have this is the 2nd sale that you've hosted this year, and then plus you've helped out with the Kansas sale as well. So,
very very much enjoy it, and working with you guys and all the different consigners across the country. But we did the Heritage Sale earlier this year, and then assisted my folks in Todd McKnight with the Kansas sale. They started the Kansas affiliate. So that was a nice, fun first-time event as well. And now we're into Legends. So yeah, it's been a very busy year.
Yep. Well, let's go ahead and we'll talk about Legends Sale. It happens the weekend of Friday, September 19th and Saturday, September 20th. But can you tell everyone what happens on Thursday, September 18th?
Thursday, we'll have check-in all day. The animals can start arriving, anywhere between 8 and 10 o'clock. And we prefer to have everything stalled by 8 o'clock that night, just because the following day is going to be really busy. One thing that we do, I find it unique, but also really cool, is when animals get there, we'll run all the sale animals through. We'll get them weighed and measured, and all that information will be given to Hired Hand for them to update on the site, as well as Chase and Dan will have that from the block to announce exact information that happened there on location. So you never have to guess, well, is that measurement off at all? Is everything going to be spot on? And if an owner does have a question, then they're free to come back and say, hey, could you pull that animal again? I'd like you to remeasure it. And we've done that in the past, and everybody's happy. So I think that's something fun that we do, but you're getting very accurate information. Genetically defined will be there. If people prefer, we can pull some DNA samples for them and get them submitted. They'll have to pay the processing fees and so on and so forth, but we'll be able to pull DNA for them as well. And that's another thing we do with the Legends sale that a lot of pride in is so many of these animals have been parent verified, have DNA on file. And some of them, they went as far as know how strong of milkers they are, or their ribeye size, or marbling ability. And, getting a lot more phone calls. People are seeing the importance in that and willing to spend more money on animals that are parent verified. So, anyway, I know I got off topic. So, Thursday, animals check in. We will be measuring and weighing, stalling those animals. They'll all have feed and water in front of them. All the futurity pens, they'll also have feed and water in them. Another fun thing, Marcus Cartwright, they are also supplying like 5 pounds of a commodity mix. They'll be given to all the sale animals for Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So that's a new added feature. We're excited that they brought that to our attention and wanted to sponsor that. So, but that gets us through Thursday. Friday morning, we'll start measuring about 8:30 with the sale or the futurity starting at 9, and we'll get processed through both male and females that day, and we'll go into bracket play with the NLFR, and we'll do the heifer sale starting at 5:30 on Friday with a meal to follow. We'll also have live music and award ceremony.
Who did you select for your judges this year?
Well, I hope I do not miss anybody, but we've got Sean Sayer coming from Missouri. We've got Alex Dees from Oregon. We've got Tom Ryder. He's coming in from Arkansas. We've got Cole Baker from California. And, man, I'll think of the fifth in a second.
Okay. And you said the awards are going to be on Friday night, correct?
Oh, Jay Watcher. Jay Watcher was my fifth.
Okay, cool.
So ask your question again.
The awards, though, they're going to be after the futurity on Friday.
Yeah, we'll that'll be after the meal on Friday night.
Okay.
So we'll do the futurity. We want to give people the opportunity to go out and view all the heifers in the sale. Then we'll do the sale, the meal, awards, and then we'll have live music to follow.
Okay. And how many entries did you have this year for the futurity?
I think it's like 165 or 169.
Okay.
It's about where we were at last year.
And I think in previous years, you've always given away some pretty hefty prizes. You want to talk about those?
Our prizes are not possible without our sponsors and those people that help make this event possible. For the Grand Champion female, we'll be giving away an 8-foot wide, 24-foot long aluminum Hillsboro stock trailer. These trailers are wrapped with our sponsors' branding. Some of them just do logos. Some of them have animals that represent their ranch for that year. But that is a prize for the Grand Champion female. The Reserve Grand will get a PNC chute. On the Grand Champion male, we just have significantly less participants on the male side, which is a lot of fraternities. But this year we're giving away a PNC chute to the Grand Champion bull and a PNC bale feeder for the Reserve Grand bull. One of the things we are doing fun this year, though, for every $1,000 spent in sponsorship and every $1,000 spent in the sale, we are giving you a ticket to go towards the drawing of a second Hillsboro stock trailer that's 8 feet wide, 24 feet long, that is also wrapped. So for every $1,000 you spend in the sale, you could be taking home a $38,000 prize. So I think that's a really cool buyer's incentive that we've implemented this year, and try to continue to get people engaged in the marketing of Texas Longhorns and buying and enhancing their programs.
Well, while we're talking about the buyers, we'll need the buyers on Saturday for the sale. Oh, and what time does that start?
Off the top of my head, I could be off 30 minutes. It was either 10:30 or 11. But that'll happen on Saturday morning. That is Central Time, which allows people we can get the sale process. There's 45 lots on the cow sale. I'm guessing that's going to run about 2.5 hours, but that still gives a lot of folks the opportunity to get loaded out and get back on the road and get back home to spend Sunday with their families. But if folks choose to stay the night there in Duncan, Oklahoma, that's fine. We are happy to help get them loaded out on Sunday morning. We just ask that animals are gone by noon on Sunday.
Who are the sale day contacts for either on Friday or Saturday?
Myself, my phone number is 816-536-1083. My mother, Becky Rombeck, she can be another contact if there's an issue or question. Her phone number is 785-562-6190. And the third and final contact would be my father, Jim, and his phone number is 785-562-6665. And those are also listed inside the catalog.
When people have updates, if they haven't, filled them out through the online form, who should they contact with those updates?
If they've got information that they would like to share for sale updates, horn measurements, preg status, new baby at side, AI information, that sort of thing, they can reach out to me directly at justinthelonghornman@gmail.com, and we'll compile that information, and then we'll get it over to Hired Hand for updates for online. That way it's shared to everybody. But we have sent out a link to all the participants in the sale, so they have that link and they can get that information updated with you guys directly also.
Okay, awesome. And I believe Chase is the pedigree reader, and then Dan Huntington is the auctioneer this year.
Yeah, that is correct. Excited to have both of them doing their job. And then, we've also got the NLFR, Joe Solacek. He is running the fraternity for us this year. They're cutting the checks and helping out in that capacity as well. And that is a very welcome thing, taking a little bit of weight off of our shoulders, and appreciate having him involved as well.
Who is handling the cattle in the back for you this year?
Terry Bryant. They've been with us since year one. He brings in a crew of guys. They move the animals nice and slow. Everything is very relaxed. We do the staging of the animals. Again, they all go through the measuring chute. They get measured and weighed prior to going into the fraternity ring, and everything is just moved at a very slow pace. Everything is very chill. Every once in a while there's an animal that comes through that's excited, but that's something we try to do our best to make sure these animals are as relaxed as possible. And sometimes that means they get to stand next to a buddy and when they're coming up, instead of moving solo. So Terry and his guys, they do a fantastic job.
I believe in the catalog I saw that you had quite the list of haulers already. Can you tell everyone who they are?
Again, I do not mean to miss anybody. Harrison, Iger, and Dan Grove are going to be out there from the East Coast and moving animals back and forth. We've got Wes Clark. He's down there in the San Antonio area. But Wes is also one of those guys. He's all over the blessed country. He's quite the machine.
And I think Ezra Long, and then
Ezra
Josh
Long.
Brown.
Yes, Josh. He's he's here in Kansas and would help get animals moved back this direction. Ezra, he's down there around Austin, and he's been all over the place as well. And I think also Bob Larson, he may have some availability going out to the West Coast also. I know, and Alex Dees is not a hauler, but she may have some availability as well, getting animals hauled back out there towards the Idaho-Oregon border.
Okay. Well, you briefly mentioned a couple of your sponsors. Is there any of your other sponsors that you'd like to mention as well?
Again, try not to forget anybody, but Tim and Nicole Clark, Whitlock Longhorns, Bentwood Ranch, Hoosier Longhorns. They've all pretty well been with us from the beginning, year after year. Those are some of our top end sponsors this year. Stellar Partners has also came to the plate and did a big sponsorship, helping us achieve these goals of making this event possible. And not to forget any of our other sponsors that really come to the table: Crown Creek Cattle, McIntyre Farms, PNC Pens, 1886 Cattle Company, Hutchins Barbecue, CR Ranches, Hubble Longhorns, Diamond B Longhorns, JBR Longhorns, Hagler Ranch, Trickle Creek Ranch, Paragon Cattle Services, Longhorn Opportunities, Silver Tea Ranch, Gilliland Ranch, Rockin' RB Ranch, Vanderford Cattle Company, Dauntless Longhorns, Adcock Longhorns, Siller Landed Longhorns, Lucky Mountain Ranch, Landis Farms, 4-Lane Longhorns, J2 Ranch and Freeman Ranch Partnership, the Legacy Group, RTG Ranch, Lutt Longhorns, Robeson Ranch and Superior Firearms, and CH Bar Ranch and Stockman Trading Co. While we're on that, for some of our Final Four sponsors are Buxton Longhorns, G&A Country Club Ranch, Hoosier, Cold Copper Ranch, M7 Longhorns, and Cool Hand Luke Partnership. We've also got class sponsors, John and Natalie Cheney, K&B Cattle Co., Circle A Longhorns, Lady Lillian Longhorns, J&T Longhorns, Laidback Ranch, Lucky Mountain Longhorns, and Sillers. I don't remember earlier if I mentioned Glenn Dennings. They've also been a very big sponsor of us, and Chad and Janelle Smith from North Dakota, rounding out some of our other premier sponsors for the event. But again, we can have dream and we can have passion, but these folks with their sponsorships make this all become a reality. So very much appreciate them, folks.
Well, let's talk about your consigners this year. Is there anybody who is brand new to the sale?
Off the top of my head, not that I recall, but I mean, folks have dug really deep. I will say 1886, they've been in the business a very short time. So this is their first year in consigning. So excited to have them in the industry. They've made a heck of a splash in a short amount of time. And it is very exciting to see where they're going to be going in the future. So I guess that would be a new consigner this year. But a lot of them, they come back year after year, and we appreciate the confidence that they bestow on us and helping them market some top end animals.
Well, let's talk about the consignments now. There are 35 heifers in the heifer sale on Friday night, and then 45 cows on Saturday, so roughly 80 total. Mm-hmm. Do you know of any scratches?
We've got two. There's one scratch and there's one sub. And I think I actually sent you a wrong email yesterday. The Optimus Star cow is a scratch. That was lot 27. And then lot 40 will be a sub. The cow herself, she came up too close to call. So I'll be sending you information on that today to update. But it's an exciting daughter of Django. She's black and white. Her horns full back really hard. Super well bred young female. Very stout. I know that's going to be a heifer in the cow sale, but talking with Jeremy McIntyre, felt that was an amazing substitution lot. And black and white has been extremely popular this year, so I think very fitting and should generate top dollar for them.
And what about lot 35? Is that one from Nathan Jones? Is that one also a scratch?
Yes,
Indiana?
yeah, Nathan called me yesterday, so she is also scratch correct. Yep.
Okay. Well, as I was looking through the catalog, it seems like on Saturday you have quite a few unique lots. Should we run down those and talk about those?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, let's start with lot 3. And if I miss one, just stop me and we'll get it in there. But let's start with lot 3.
Lot 3 is a saddle jewel pregnancy. Saddle Jewel herself, she sold at the Hudson Stockyard sale a year ago for $120,000. She is the longest horn tip-to-tip black and white cow in the breed. We have her crossed with Iron Man HR. He's an exciting up-and-coming bull. He's very, very stout. He's a son of PC 40, Pacific Cowboy 40. His mother is a drag iron daughter out of Rebel's full sister. So he's got generations of legends stacked in him. His early calves are just absolute machines. They're really thick. They're very correct. There's a lot of color. He himself, just shy of 94 inches, I believe, tip to tip right now, on his way to 100. His dad's got 1 or 2 sons that are at 100 right now. So Pacific Cowboy 40's made it quite the name for himself. He is a son of Cowboy Upchecks, who's out of Bio Rio Catch It. And then you've got RC Pacific Mermaid below that. So this is just an absolute stacked genetic mating that has generated a lot of early excitement, had quite a few phone calls, and also kind of obvious in the pre-bidding. We're at $5,100 on a pre-bid. This pregnancy, I want to say, is due in March or April of next year. So we have the recip will be coming to town for the owner to take home with them. But we do have, I think, 3 of those exact matings. So what this will be unique, probably a mating we're never going to recreate again. We like to have genetic diversity. That way there's not a ton of competition, but this is something fun that this partnership is offering today.
So while we're talking about Ironman HR, let's go down to lot 6 from Rockin' RB Ranch.
Again, we just talked about Iron Man and his amazing attributes. I think this bull's got such an amazing future. We've been using him in AI and IVF work. But the donor, WSA, she is one of the strongest milking cows I think I've ever seen in this industry. I mean, she's got an udder like a Jersey. In fact, she just had a baby like 2 days ago with Jamantex. So this cow's in her 90s. She's got an amazing twist, amazing bag. What looks like a dirty roan, when you're close to this cow, all those little specks have brindle in them, and she is a totally stunning individual, very complete cow. And she passes on a lot of that twist to her calves. With twist, you typically have to be very patient, but it is very rewarding watching them develop into mature animals.
The next one that I see as one of the unique lots is lot number 9 from Chad and Janelle Smith from North Dakota.
Yes. So right before, or maybe it was right after the catalog went to print, they were going to offer a pregnancy with this mating. And Chad, I sent him a photo of one of the ET calves I have here on this mating, and completely blown away. And he goes, let's up our game. So this is actually going to be a live heifer calf that just weaned here a few days ago from this mating, a Jungle Gym and Awesome Reb. This heifer is big and stout and thick. Her horns are out past the ends of her ears, and they fold back to have that elegant twist, just like her mother, Awesome Reb. This cow has got the makings of a future legend. I mean, her offspring are cookie cutter, and it doesn't really matter what bull they're with. She's crossed with Jamantex a couple different times, and she's got a daughter that is, I think, like number 8 maybe on the highest point in LFR for 2025. But that's with Jamantex in this cow. She's got a daughter with Cowboy Tough Checks that's owned by Bentwood that'll cross over 100 inches as a 5-year-old, and she's got a full brother that's owned by Aton and Sandy and Randy Murray, and he is a thick individual making some incredible babies for them. The thing that really excites me about this particular cross is not just bighorn on bighorn, but it is the line breeding of LLL Rosemary. that genetic combination is just so intense. The offspring are thick. As they mature, they're excellent mothers and milkers. They're extremely fertile. And just you have an explosion in the horn department. You'll find an example of HR Rosette that we sold there a few years ago for $700,000. She would be a line-bred Rosemary. Dean Whitlock has a line-bred Rosemary, MN Rebel Zoe, and she's like 107. It's magic. This combination doesn't miss. So, whoever takes this animal home, lot 9, they're going to be doing backflips for years to come.
Well, and let's talk about another HR bred lot, which is lot 10. That one is consigned by Harrison Iger and Jay Wachter.
Yes. And this lot is a full sister to the HR Awesome Reb Cow that I was just describing. So I put these side by side in the sale. Again, I mentioned earlier in this podcast the importance of families and consistency. Rebel with top caliber is absolutely incredible, producing HR Awesome Reb and then taking that to the next generation. Those cows just don't miss. And this is a calf that's on the ground. It's going to be a month, 6 weeks old come sale time, so it'll come with a recip. But you look at the twist that comes with this awesome star cow. She's a top caliber daughter and goes back to the Nico legacy. That was a cow that sold many years ago at a legacy sale for like $40,000. But there's a lot of frame and capacity. It goes back to Emperor genetics. I know that's a blast from the past. But Rebel himself, through the Hunts Commandery spec side, will also do that. So those line breeding characteristics, you're going to find a lot of frame capacity, bone structure, but you'll also have the maternal characteristics that come through on this. This is another can't miss situation.
And the next one, I believe, is lot 33. That one is consigned by Bentwood.
It is a Bentwood Rock and RB partnership. And this is a Hubble's 20 gauge and RM OK Lady Pat. 20 gauge has been the dominating bull for years on top fraternity producing animals. They're big, they're thick, they're long, they're clean. They've just been cleaning house. On the donor side, the RM OK Lady Pat, she had sold at a Red McComb sale, probably 7-8 years ago. Hudson had bought her at that point for $100,000. We've sold Rebel daughters and Tough daughters off of her since Bentwood had owned her and probably generated at minimum $75,000, $80,000. We've sold a few frozen embryos on her as well. So she's been a cow that Bentwood's generated well over $100,000 off of, and her offspring are very complete. This is the first time that a 20 gauge is ever being offered off of her. So very excited to watch this calf develop, knowing the frame and capacity that she puts on her calves naturally. This ought to be gold.
And the next one is lot 38, which is consigned by Diamond B Cattle.
Yes. So, and Colin was going to get back to me. They were going to try to put an additional embryo back inside this recip, but the calf itself is a 50-50 times snake bite. That snake bite cow is now owned by Gilliland Ranch, but she's got several full sisters that are just totally stunning. The grandmother to her, is owned in partnership with Dean Whitlock, Robert Vanderford, and Joe Gibbons. There's a lot of this influence throughout Diamond B's and Brian Brett's programs as well. The consistency of the maternal side is what we're all striving for, and you're going to find Crackerjack, his mother, and sire all go back to Legends or are Legends themselves. 50-50, he sired an enormous amount of 90 and 100-inch daughters. They've generated top-end dollar going through Legacy Sale and Hudson Valentine. And we had a 50-50 daughter bring, I think, $35,000-$36,000 at last year's Legends Sale. So the stout genetics that do not miss. this is a potential 3-in-1. You're going to have the resup, you're going to have this 50-50, and then they're going to put another embryo back inside this cow. So you got multiple opportunities to recoup investment on this one.
And now let's hear from our advertisers.
Looking for top quality Longhorns and a taste of true Texas spirit? Look no further than Cantera Cattle Company. Our passion for Longhorns shines at Old Gringo Ranch, where tradition meets excellence. Visit us online at CanteraCattleCompany.com and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok for the latest updates and ranch life fun. Ready to experience it yourself? Schedule your visit by emailing canteracattle@gmail.com. Remember, God is great, Longhorns are good, and life is crazy.
Imagine updating your website and managing your animals at the same time without needing tech experience. With Hired Hand software, it's that easy. Our user-friendly platform is designed specifically for breeders, allowing you to keep your site fresh and your animal records up to date in just a few clicks.
Let us simplify your digital chores while you focus on what you do best. Visit hiredhandsoftware.com and see just how easy it can be.
Do you sometimes feel like you're the only one who doesn't have it all figured out? Rural life can be isolating, but it doesn't have to be.
Welcome to Ag's Most Okayest Farm Girls, the podcast for women who are craving connection, laughter, solidarity, camaraderie, and just overall encouragement in your everyday life and dreams.
Each week, your hosts, Annalise, that's me, and Courtney will cover topics such as farm life, mom life, making money online, side hustles, hobbies, sharing on social media, jobs off the farm, and so much more.
Us rural gals need to stick together, so saddle up for some fun, real, and unsolicited advice and stories from our everyday farm lives.
Grab a drink, we're Ag's Most Okayest Farm Girls, and we're here to help. Listen wherever you find podcasts.
Are you a new Longhorn breeder eager to educate yourself on market trends and sale prices? Stay in the loop with our text messages. Get the latest updates, events, and insider tips on all things Longhorns delivered straight to your phone.
Stay informed by texting website to 888-700-8131, then reply with Longhorns. That's website to 888-700-8131. Sign up today and take your breeding program to the next level. Well, let's jump into our catalog roulette now. We'll start with the heifer sale. I'll go through and randomly choose an animal, and then you can tell us more about it. You ready?
Perfect.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, let's go back to the heifer sale. We'll start with lot 2 in the heifer sale from Alex D's CR Lightning Stout.
Powerful young cow. And if you click through, Alex does have a new updated photo that was taken in mid-August. She's a daughter of Jay's Lightning in a Bottle. She's an embryo transfer calf, Lightning in a Bottle, and his sire, Jay Turtle Safari's son. Both were partnership bulls, each sold for about $250,000. Going back to Rurally Screwed, which is out of the Lady Monica cow, who is a legend. You're going to find Night Safari, who is a legend. You'll find Poco Lady, again, a line breeding of that Poco Lady line. Below that, your CPC 40. You got Cowboy Upchecks, who's a full brother of Tough and Catch It. Those bulls are both named legends. They're out of BL Rio Catch It. You have RC Pacific Mermaid, who is a legend, and her sire Teal Star is a legend. And back in the third generation on the very bottom, you got Drag Iron, and he was a legend. So this pedigree is absolutely stacked. The beautiful black and white. This female's got a lot of stretch about her, exceptional horn development, and we've got her exposed to the Dunn Pay Dirt, a son of the 200% cow that was owned by Nancy Dunn.
Okay, so the next one we'll stop on is lot 6. We'll keep it in Oregon, and we'll go with Tim and Nicole Clark.
I am so excited about this heifer. I haven't seen her probably in 9 months, but her numbers are incredible. She's going to be mid-60s at 2, and I don't remember the exact number, but it was like 26, I think, legends in her pedigree. Her sire is Blue Moon GLR, a son of royalty. So you've got Houdini also sired Jungle Gym. You've got Royal Toughette, a tough daughter. Her mother would be a full sister to W.S. Sunstar. Below that, you got Hupple's 20 gauge and a daughter of Archer Texa. Archer was a Jamaicism son, and Texana Van Horn. All legends that I've mentioned so far. On the bottom side, MCI 7 higher Rowdy Girl. She was a grand champion female in many shows. But one of the most exciting is she topped the Futurity with the Legacy Sale here a few years ago, and she sold for like right at $40,000. But she had a heck of her career, generated several thousands of dollars in prize-winning money. She goes back to WS Vindicator, Horseshoe J Important, Rowdy HR, and D8 Jake's Cowgirl, and her mother be a full sister to Jamaichism's Alfie. So very stacked. We've got some line breeding here of the Sunstar family, of the Rowdy HR going back to the Rosemary line. We've got line bred Jamaichism. This is a stout pedigree, and the icing on the cake with her, they've got her exposed to Kid Rock. Kid Rock, they measured him the other day. He's 108 3/4 with a ton of total horn. This is like a match made in heaven, but this is one of the most exciting heifers I've seen sell in years.
Now we'll go to people that we don't usually see a whole lot at sales anymore, but when they do come, they always make sure to bring, I think, one of their best animals, which is Terry and Sherry Adcock, lot 11, TS Jammin' Mickey.
Stunning young heifer. These calves that they're getting from Jammin' Rebel are absolute units. I've got a new photo that I taken of this bull, and it'll be on the trailer there at Legends this year for folks to see. But this dude is so thick. Looking across his top line, I'd guess this bull to be 2.5 foot wide across his top. The depth of body and springer rib are exceptional, but he's got a lot of bone structure. He can move out. His sire's Jammin' Tex, a Jamaichism son of Texana Garland gal. That also brings in Teja Star. Below that, you've got Rebel, and you go back to Rio and Senator. So you're bringing a lot of that frame through on the Senator side, but really loving what that Jammin' Rebel bull is doing. When we jump to the bottom side of this pedigree, you'll see Magnificent Ken in the 3rd generation. He's a son of Concealed Weapon. Then you got Rio Dottie. That whole Dottie line that Dave Hoving had was exceptional, made a lot of impact, not only in the Adcock program, but Hudson's and Dave Hoving's and several others as well. You're also going to see Teja Star again. So you have that line breeding. Here a little bit ago, I mentioned the line breeding aspect of Emperor. The frame capacity, bone structure that comes through on that is phenomenal. This heifer's got a perfect horn set, very squared up head. Her horns will roll over and twist as she continues to mature, but you're going to have a lot of maternal characteristics, a lot of fertility and milk. This is one of those females that's just not going to disappoint.
The next one we'll speak about is lot 16 from Brad and Michelle Spray, CHR Foxy Lady.
Brad and Michelle are awesome folks. They've been in the business, I think, now for 6 or 7 years. When they got started, they really wanted to focus on the consistency of the genetics. They wanted to get to where they had the color and the horn, but the genetic base is what they started with. They bought this heifer sire, Last Chance Troubadour, from Todd and Kelly McKnight there in Pittsburgh, Kansas. He is a Jammin' Tex son. We just got done talking about Jammin' here a minute ago on that last lot. On the bottom side, you got Rimrock's Rose. She's just under 90 tip to tip. This cow weighs like 1,300 pounds. She is a daughter of PCC Rimrock, who's a legend, and FREL Maxine, who is a legend. So again, all 4 of the great-grandparents, every single one of them is a legend. So that is powerful in itself. When we go to the bottom side, you got the full of sass, and you're going to see she goes back to Shadows Jubilee, Cowboy Casanova, and LL Sassy Girl, who is right at 90 inches. She was out of JR Sassy, which is a cow that generated about $250,000 for the Bentwood Ranch also. So a powerful young female. She, let's see if they updated that measurement. This should have been like a 60-inch 2-year-old. They do have her confirmed bred, but this is one of those females. She will not disappoint. I bought a few different heifers from Brad and Michelle personally, and they are big, stout cows. They're very maternal, great mothers, and they breed right back. So this is not a gamble. This is a guarantee that you're going to take a great one home.
Next up is lot 20 from Kurt and Galinda Twining, Silver Enough Diva.
Very feminine heifer. We actually have two daughters of Hubble's Butch Cassidy in the sale this year, so it is fun to see new bulls coming into the market that are consistently stamping their calves. He is a dirty roan paint bull. He's got very nice structure. He's a son of Cowboy Ketchacheks over Hubble's Rioana Van Horn. She's got full sisters that have done extremely well. One being Shamrock My World. That cow had quite the career, and she's had daughters bring $20,000-$30,000. Another one was a solid black cow that Russell Freeman and Jarnagans owned. So was a solid black full sister, and she produced that bull of Chad Smith's that's just under 90. That's now Cowboy Grande. So that whole family, Rioana Van Horn and all of her sisters, they're all outstanding producers. Below that, you're going to see Cowboy Tough Checks and that Cherry Pickers Lazowie cow. Lazowie, when they crossed her with Boomerang at the end of the Trails Ranch, that produced over $1 million in offspring. But maybe one of the most exciting is you're going to see Delta Lucky Diva, and that would be a full sister to Delta Lucky Lady and a full sister to Delta Lucky Ace. So again, super stacked heifer, lots of color, lateral horns. I can't wait to see her in 3 years as a mature cow. I'm sure this will be an animal that we're talking about for years to come.
And the last one we'll talk about in the heifer sale is lot 32, HLR, That Magic Shot from Keith and Marcia Hagler.
This heifer's sire is RJF Black Magic. He's a bull that hasn't been out there a lot. Keith and Marcia, they have been breeding him to, 15, maybe 20 cows, twice a year. And with smaller numbers, half of those are bulls, half of those are heifers. So having the opportunity to get a direct offspring is quite exceptional. He's had daughters that have brought, over 10,000 in the past, generating that cash cow market. He's a son of 20 gauge. And out of the $50,000 plus KCCI Outback Fancy, she had went through the Panther Creek dispersal sale, and she did have a very nice career. On the bottom side, this Tequila Rose is her mother. A cow's got a massive amount of scoop. She's mid-80s, tip to tip, but I'd guess her between 115 and 120 inches as a total horn, and that's as a 5.5 coming 6-year-old. We've got a full sister back there at the house that they're going to retain, but this is one of their special families that they're building on, and there's so much horn in this family. You've got Elevation being her sire. He's a son of Cowboy Upchecks and then WS Sunstar. We've mentioned her several times here today. She's a Teos Star daughter, but she's also the mother to Vindicator and several others. But, she's been named a legend, and her sire Teos Star as well. On the bottom, you got Shamrock Rio Jubilee. You're going to find JP Rio Grande and Shadows Jubilee in his pedigree. And then some older school genetics from the El Coyote Ranch with that super tequila. But this is an amazing young female, a lot of wild brindle. They've got her bred up to Lone Star Rebel, a fun young bull that I think is also going to be turning heads in years to come. But she'll be heavy bred. She'll be dropping a baby here this fall. And her horns, they will go ahead and roll out as she continues to mature. But exciting young animal. Excited to have her in the sale.
Now we'll move on to the cow sale, and we'll talk about lot 2 from Patrick and Michelle Hengler, HR Bubba's Cat.
Bubba's Cat was bred by the Harrell Ranch there in Oklahoma, and Pat bought them out back in November, December of last year, which was one of his big jumps on developing the program that he's at today. But on Bubba's Cat, she's a daughter of Bubba Tough Checks. That bull, he had a heck of a career producing Horn Showcase champions and Futurity champions. His dad was Cowboy Tough Checks, and then B.O. Grizzy, which is Rio and Hubble's Black Beauty. That Grizzy cow did a lot of great things for the Loomis Ranch. On the bottom of that is Hubble's HR Rebel's cat, a Rebel HR daughter, and Tiger Stripes, going back to LLL Lucky on the bottom of the pedigree. This cow now is over 90 inches tip to tip. She is heavy bred to be our jungle gym, but the thing that makes this female stand out is her production. She's got a daughter with Pacific Cowboy 40 that, even with a lot of total horn, is going to go well into her 90s and her tip to tip, and probably 120 a total horn. And her first calf was lights out phenomenal. Her second daughter that Pat's got is called Jammin' Cat. She's going to be over 75 inches on her third birthday. That was sired with Jammin' Tex. And then her yearling heifer was sired by Warlock. So it doesn't matter what this cow crosses with, it is gold. She's just a very special female. I know we've got bigger horn cows in the sale and in the breed, but this is truly one of those cows that a person should take home and get to an embryo facility and pull some calves or embryos off of her. This is something you build around.
The next one we'll stop at is Lot 7, who I'm sure you're probably pretty familiar with, from your mom and dad, Jim and Becky Rombeck, JBR Lillian.
Beautiful first calf heifer, wild brindle color. Her mother was a really twisty horn cow, that OHL Libby. And her 3/4 sister would be owned by Whitlock Longhorns, and that cow is like 105, 106 inches. So a lot of twist, a lot of maternal attributes. She does have a bull calf at side. That would be her great grandmother on the top side, DH Red Temptation. That was a cow that Dale Hunt had and made a major impact in his program. She had many daughters that were in the 90s. I think she's got one approaching 100, but that was one of his top female lines that he's had for 10, 15 years and really built on. You're also going to find that Rowdy HR in there. So this is one of those cows you can take home and put a jungle gym on or a Rebel HR something on, and you're going to have that line-bred Rosemary that is so coveted. She was exposed back to a son of the 102-inch SL Cowboys Vita. The vet did Prager too close to call, but she does have a big stout bull calf on her side. She's been back here at our home place for a few weeks. I have not seen her cycle, so my assumption is that she is actually shortbred and the vet just didn't have it on ultrasound yet. So this should be a 3-in-1 package, but stunning heifer when you see her in person.
Next up is Lot 11 from Dan and Tracy Jones, Hoosier Longhorns in Indiana, 50s Dragonfly.
Another beautiful daughter of 50-50. Looking at her frame and barrel and just natural thickness would make you excited. The icing would be that beautiful black and white heifer that she's got sired by Native Legends and bred back the same way. I mean, when you're going to bring one to town, they checked all the boxes here. Her mother, Just Dragging Iron, she produced Just a Cowboy, which was the grand champion bull at the 2025 Legends, and he won a trailer last year. Jarnigan Freemans, they own that female, Just Dragon Iron now, and they've produced an assortment of various bulls with MC Hanging Tough and Teja Star and several other things. I want to think that cow's got one son, Just a Cowboy. He's approaching 100 right now, and I think she's got 3 other sons that are at or right at 90. So Just Dragging Iron will go down in the history books as one of these top producing cows just for the consistency that she puts into her bulls. The one thing I've seen about her daughters is there is a lot of twist that has come through on those. And even if they themselves do not achieve, 85, 90, 100 inches tip to tip, the calves that they're putting on the ground are so well balanced and thick, and it definitely is shining through in that next generation. But talking with Tracy on this female here in front of us, Dragonfly, he said, her calves are outstanding. and just never miss. This cow's a machine.
We'll move on next to a consignment from Wade Wagner and Mike New, lot 17, Mona Lisa Moon.
You have to love the consistency and the depth of body of this female. She's got the old school genetics, but she has all that refinement of a modern day female. On her top side, you're going to see that she goes back to Eminem Lee. And again, this is jumping way back in time, but you're going to see Coach and Working Woman. Coach was a straight Butler bull that he really refined a lot of those Johnny Hoffman type cows that Loomis had back in the day. Working Woman was a very stout female. You're going to see that coming through with a CK Super Dixie. He was a son of Circle K Donovan and L Easy Woman, who's a powerful phenomenon daughter. Eminem Lee's dam was Butter Feisty Lee, which is a clone of Days Feisty Fanny. When you see that CF2 affiliated with that name, it's Butter Feisty Lee CF2. The CF2 represents that was from the colonial family too. So she was the second cow cloned within our breed. So that's kind of a little neat history lesson for those that don't know. You're going to see a clone of Shadows Jubilee in there as well, that MU Shadow Jubilee 7 CFA. So she was the 7th. Shadows Jubilee was the 7th cow cloned. The Dragon Lady was a cow that Stockton Burton have done very well with and continues to make impact through several programs today. You'll see Drag Iron and a clone of Rutledge's Miss Sue. That was a heifer that, going back to an early millennium sale that was back in Kentucky, I was working for a ranch at the time as a ranch manager, Forester Ranch, and I went to go buy that heifer. And the bidding got hot and heavy, and she got to $30,000 really quick. I hadn't even raised my hand yet. And anyway, I was talking to the boss on the telephone, and he goes, "Bump it 5,000." So I did. And I was bidding against Ron Marquez and Rex Mauser at that time. And so they bid 1,000. He goes, "Bump it 5,000 again." So I did. We go back and forth, and we hit about $55,000. And the crowd just absolutely explodes. And we're $20,000 over budget, and the boss didn't seem to care. He's like, "I want to buy the best." I had to run up the stairs outside, and I don't remember who the auctioneer was that day, but I told him, "Don't stop. Just give me a second." Ran outside, and he goes, "What the hell is going on? There's so much noise." So told him the crowd was going wild, and everybody's cheering. He goes, "Well, go bid $5,000 again." So we did it. And then at that point, after that, went a few more times. I think she ended up selling for $64,000. We did not get her. Ron and Rex did. But just a really fun story on a cow that really topped the millennium that year. But they went on to clone her, and then you see that impact that's being made. And I guess I'm getting old because, being able to tell a story is something that happened 15, 20 years ago. And some of these cows have now died off of old age, but to have that story to tell on the genetics and the impact is quite fun. Continuing on the bottom of this cow's pedigree, you're going to see Tempter, which is Temptation's the ace. His mother was a cow called Lamb's Temptation, really super twisty phenomenon daughter. Didn't have crazy length, but that line bred phenomenon for the JL Collier program was huge. You have the Legend Field of Pearls, and you've also got the Legend Horseshoe J Example. That cow's also the mother concealed weapon. So stacked pedigree, lots of history, and then they had AI'd her here a few months ago. I think it was the Cowboy Tough Checks with heifer sex semen. So fun cow, a lot of history in here, a lot of pedigree, and a lot of twist.
Well, you talk about fun stories when cows sold. So let's stop on lot 22, who is the full sister to 3S Danica. And she is consigned by Mike and Holly Davis from Lucky Mountain Ranch.
So 3S Danica, she had been the record holder for quite some time. I think is in the number 2 or number 3 position currently for the highest selling Longhorn cows. When you look at the production of 3S Danica, she's got 2 daughters, I believe, right now, over 100 inches, and a couple others that are getting close. Her one daughter sold last year. TCC Danny sold at the Glendenning sale last year for $110,000. And then she had her daughter that was outside at that Glendenning sale sold at Legends last year, 2 Glendennings for $54,000 or $56,000. So highly coveted genetics. Her son Century 100, he had a daughter that sold for 60-some thousand a year ago at the Glendenning sale also. That'd be a granddaughter of Danica. The sons of hers that have sold their grandsons, they're bringing $50,000 to $100,000 just to get the influence. This is something that Mike has really held pretty tight to his chest and not letting direct lineage go from this female line. So to have the opportunity to take home a full sister to 3S Danica, it's something that doesn't happen. He did place, I don't remember how many he said, but he had several pregnancies, and he messaged me yesterday and said, hey, we had some of those that had slipped, but we do have a pregnancy left that's over 90 days. And he goes, we're going to leave it at the house. It's not going to go to the sale, but it is one of those things when the buyer, they slam the gavel down, we know who it is. He'll make arrangements to have that animal shipped to that buyer's location. But you are going to have a full sister to Danica, and I don't think that's something he's going to recreate in the future. So very, very unique, very special. And Danica herself, though she's 115 inches, her mom is over 103, I believe. Danica being 115 and daughters being over 100. The consistency of this family is of epic proportions, and that's why we named Danica herself a legend this year. So truly something special here.
Well, you mentioned Glendennings a little bit earlier while we were talking about 3S Danica. So let's move on to their lot 23, GF Lady Lawyer.
Again, I know I'm long-winded on your podcast, but I like sharing information. The Lawman bull, big stout red bull. He really stamps his babies. When you look at the hip, the Springer rib, the length of back, they're elegant and trim. They don't have a lot of extra skin through their brisket or throat latch. I really like what that bull is doing. His dad, AF Gunslinger, was a bighorn bull and long as a freight train. His sire was MMW Gorilla. Gorilla goes back to Watson 83, which is a bull that goes back to Soapweed. There was a lot of twists from the Watson program. You've got Delta Van Horn. Delta Van Horn produced Starliner, Texana Van Horn. So another animal that is line-bred Emperor, but you're going to hold a lot of frame and capacity, but a lot of cleanliness at the same time. Gunslinger's mother is a cow called Heartthrob, which was a top caliber daughter. Again, you just cannot go wrong having top caliber in the pedigree. On the bottom side of this, you're going to see GF Buckwin, who's a son of Drag Iron out of a really twisty horn daughter of Rio. The thing about the Glendennings is they've been in this industry since the early 80s. They've been in the business about as long as I've been alive. You've also got GF Heavy Hitter, who is a industry leading for horn length at the time. So your third generation minimum here, actually you're going to go fourth, because you go back to GF Possum Solution, and that's GF Possum Girls. So you're going to go GF G-Man line breeding. G-Man, without that dude's impact, you wouldn't have Gunman, which you wouldn't have JP Rio Grande, you wouldn't have Maximus ST, you wouldn't have Cowboy Tough Checks. I mean, that one bull alone forever changed our industry to what it is today. So I'm honored that Glendennings give us their sponsorships, that they give us the trust to do marketing for them. But above all that, the fact that the years of dedication to this industry, we wouldn't be where we are without Glendenning Farms today. So to that, I tip my hat to them, and thank you.
Okay, next up, we'll talk about Aaron and Micah Landy's Lot 28, GLR Monacos Sitting Texan.
I love this cow. One of the reasons I really love her is, her daughter sold for $28,500 at the stockyard sale here just a few months ago. So she's a producer. But why is this cow a producer is the question we always ask ourselves. Well, that's pretty simple. Monaco checks, both his parents, they're legends. We got JP Rio Grande, dude is kind of immortal, and then Lady Monica BL. So you've got Lady Great, Rio Monica, G&G. They had I think it was a coach daughter out of Lady Monica that was high 90s ale with Craft Ranch. You've also got Rurally Screwed that Lady Monica cow produced. So she's in so many pedigrees. But her mother, Polka Lady BL, is also the grandmother to one of our other legends this year. So we've got tons of depth of pedigree on the top side. On the bottom side, you've got Sitting Bull, which is a full brother to Top Caliber. His mother is Hash Brown. Hash Brown is out of Hash Knife. Hash Knife is also the great-grandmother to Cowboy Tough Checks. So again, even though we're back there 3, 4, and 5 generations, those slight line breedings, they can really pop. There's some statistics that say that your line breeding is going to work once you're past 3 generations. Well, I found that to be not true. If we're within 5 generations and we're hitting those consistent producers, that magic can still happen. And several times today, we've talked about the Texana Van Horn Starliner, Tejas Star Delta Van Horn. That's what this bottom side of the pedigree is. And so great grandma is Texana Van Horn. She was a cow that sold at a legacy sale for $59,000. Just had one hell of a career. Another one of those females we've named as a legend herself, and an animal that has forever impacted our industry. So this Monica Sitting Texan, they had AI'd her a few months ago to Just a Cowboy. Then she went in with Iron Man HR. She is in her P2. So DNA will determine the sire of the calf, but either way, it doesn't matter. This calf is coming out of Rockstar, not only from the sires that they've selected, but the power this female carries in her own capacity. And again, I remind you that her daughter sold earlier this year for $28,500 and was bumping 80 inches on her 3rd birthday. So huge cow, great offering, and I can't wait to see her in person.
Well, Mark and Charlene Gilliland brought the next one, Lot 32, GLR Top 20 Mermaids.
Beautiful female, and her horns are just starting to roll over. She does have a new bull calf at side that was born in the month of August, and nice udder structure. Josh, he sent me a video of them coming up to get some cubes yesterday, and the calf is growing. She's doing a great job. She herself is a daughter of Hubble's 20 gauge. We've talked about him today. Just second to none on the confirmation he stamps on his babies. Concealed weapon son out of Hubble's Rio Glory. There's a lot of frame going back there. JP Rio Grande, Hubble's Morning Glory. And there's a lot of 1,300-pound cows in this pedigree. On the bottom side, you're going to see Tsunami 2. He was a concealed weapon son in RC Pacific Mermaid. His full sister, everyone will know, is SHR Majestic Mermaid. She's 102 inches, and most of her daughters are bringing well over $40,000 that went through the sale ring. She's even had granddaughters who brought over 80. So stout pedigree. Again, as you look at this horn structure, don't be concerned. Oh my goodness, they're up. This is an 88-inch plus tip-to-tip cow, but as her horns roll over, this is a cow that's going mid-90s. She's got the color, and she's passing it on to her babies. Stacked concealed weapon. She is so versatile. You can hit her with about anything, and you're going to come out smelling like a rose.
This next one is Lot 39 from Robert and Cassandra Vanderford, DH Rowdy's Butterscotch.
I love these Rowdy daughters. They're such an important tool to use within a breeding program. I know I sound like a broken record, but when you combine Rowdy and Rebel, Rowdy and Big Red, Rowdy with, I don't know if this has been done yet, but Rowdy with Jungle Gym, that line breeding of LLL Rosemary, you cannot miss with this. On the bottom side, you got Bushwhacker Checks. He's a Cowboy Tough Check son out of BL Rio Blossom. This is another one of those cow families that just milks like absolute crazy. She herself, if you go to her page on Hired Hand, the cow's got an enormous bag, but still very functional teats. Her mother, Awesome Blossom, was the same way. And her mother, Creekmore's Awesome. I mean, these cows were just huge, huge milkers. As we go, what is our next step on the evolution of the Longhorn breed? This is one of those families for the milking capacity alone. You're combining the Rosemary, the Creekmore's Awesome, two of the strongest milking lines that are within the industry, but you have the refinement and elegance coming through with those coach daughters. I just love this young cow and everything she has to offer. You're going to see that she also goes back to Hidalgo Checks in that third generation. He is a son of Night Safari and Coach, so you're going to have that line breeding. But I just the stretch, I really enjoy that about this female too. I don't know. I personally have a little bit of different taste. I like a cow that's got a lot of a length of back. They have a little bit more natural flexion. And I spoke on this on the mic at past Legends event. When an animal is out covering country, especially when you get out to West Texas and you're in a little bit rougher environment, it kind of like stepping back in time. These animals have got to be able to move. When they're really short coupled, they're going to break down sooner. But a cow like this that's got the ability to stretch out, stride out, and have that natural flexion, it's like watching a whitetail or an elk or even a cheetah move. If a predator were to get after them, they're going to be able to get out and move and run for several miles and be able to stay safe and sound. Where something that's going to be more short coupled and really deep, they're just not going to hold up long term as well. So one of the attributes, old school feel, that I really enjoy about this female also.
And then last but not least, we'll stop on lot 45 from Dustin and Lindsay Lane, Hubble's 20 Flames.
Another one of those really powerful daughters of 20 gauge. On her bottom side, you'll see Cowboy Ketchachecks. We've named him as a legend in the past. A lot of twists came through with his daughters. He's got a daughter that's owned by Chris Clark right now that's bumping 100 tip to tip. But a true iconic individual. Her mother is a Hubble cow, but it is so much Loomis influence. You're going to be double bred far lap checks. His mother, Dark Star BR3, she was one of the high sellers at over $30,000 at a past Beller sale, and her daughter, Evening Star, I think 2 years later, was also a high seller. So we've got Coach, we've got 2 times far lap, and we've got VJ Tommy, heavy Butler influence, but then he's got her bred to his young bull, this solid black, and I think he won the Horn Showcase in all 3 divisions last year. And that bull will also be at Legends competing in the Futurity. So exciting young individual. Dustin said that this female, her horns are rolling back really hard. And if you look at her tips, you can see that they're going to roll out. So she'll develop into a big, pretty handlebar female. Love the old school genetics, but makes her so versatile with the bulls of today.
So that wraps up our game of catalog roulette. I just want to remind everyone that on Sunday, that all consignments need to be out by 12 p.m. Justin, is there anything else that you as a sale host want to let people who are attending the sale know about, things to do when they get there, or what they should bring? Any other tidbits?
We do have a few transit pins left, I believe. Those are $50 a stall. If animals are coming in on premise, though, we do need at minimum a general health certificate. Just make sure everybody's healthy and clean. We do supply feed and water to sale animals, futurity animals, and transit animals, and that's what that $50 helps cover. It's kind of a break-even cost, but something we're happy to help folks with. We are going to have a few vendors on hand again this year, so make sure to check them out. We'll also have a cornhole tournament. We'll get squeezed in there at some point. That's sponsored by Chad and Janelle, and the team will be able to take a set of boards home. So again, we try to make it a very fun, family-filled experience. We've got a kind of a sandbox for the kids, and we generally drop about $200 in nickels in there. So it keeps the kids occupied and not getting bored from sitting around 2 days at a cattle event. I know the adults don't have that problem, but we try to make it fun for the entire family. We'll have concessions as well. We've got Hutchins Barbecue that's going to be there, so amazing food is going to be had. But again, just a family-filled, fun environment, and we look forward to seeing you all there. And if you can't make it, we completely understand, but we do ask you join us on Hired Hand Live a bit often. And best of luck in taking home your new favorite Longhorn. But we appreciate you all, and thank you for the opportunity to do this podcast, Jamie.
Thanks for joining us, Justin. And make sure to check out the Legends Sale consignments ahead of sale day and follow us for more updates. Until next time.